Being a good CEO, being a great CEO, you know what really happens in your life? You sometimes feel like I made the worst decision in my entire life, or you might feel like when you are talking to someone, I can never be a good CEO in my entire life. CEO, this position, or company's owner, this position is not really meant to me. If you realize that, I think you can become a great CEO. That means that you don't really have an ego on your company, you don't really have an ego on your startup or on your product. Hey Sanjay, you know, plenty of people just ask me that you read lots of books and you read lots of life stories and autobiographies. What's the best quality to become a good CEO? You know, I'll start with this quote: there is no prototype for being the best CEO. Let's get started. Hey everyone, Sanjay here from Contriver podcast. You're listening to Constant Show. Never listen to any advice, guys. That's the advice that I want. These are nothing but you practice, practice, practice. You'll become an expert one. Your network is your net worth, but I don't know how to start. Just start. You know, there are plenty of people who just feel like Steve Jobs is a great CEO for Apple. It's not that if you just put in Steve Jobs into Microsoft, he won't be a great CEO. And Mark Zuckerberg is a great CEO for Facebook. If you just put him into Oracle, he'll not be a great CEO. It depends upon their own culture. You know, to be a good CEO, many people just think that I get this suggestion a lot: you have to be a great salesman, you have to be a marketing executive, or you have to be a great programmer, you have to be a great engineer, or something else, you have to be more creative. But to be true, my point of view is, to be a great CEO, you have to be a great decision maker. Even at the hard time, your decision should be based upon your own opinion, based upon your company culture, based upon your own mindset. Your mindset or your culture is nothing but your company. It should represent your company. That is how it is. And being a good CEO, being a great CEO, you know what really happens in your life? You sometimes feel like I made the worst decision in my entire life, or you might feel like when you are talking to someone, I can never be a good CEO in my entire life. CEO, this position, or company's owner, this position is not really meant to me. If you realize that, I think you can become a great CEO. That means that you don't really have an ego on your company, you don't really have an ego on your startup or on your product. You have a room for improvement. So that is a great start for being a CEO. That is the great start for being a great manager. So what I suggest is, be humble, be kind, care for your customer. At the same time, you have to realize that your employees are your god. Your customers, you need to care them. For your employees, your customers are your god. For you being a business manager or being a business owner, for you, your employees are your god. So if you realize that, if you be so kind, if you be so generous, humble, that's more than enough. Make some tough decision. You know, there is a awesome thing that there are plenty of CEOs who are best at hard time, who are not best at good time. To be true, Steve Jobs is a person who is the best CEO in hard times in his company. He's not a good CEO when the company goes really awesome. He's not a good CEO when the company is at a good time. That is what really happened when PepsiCo's CEO took over Apple. But again, when he came back, Apple shares was really reducing. It was really down. At that time, he just lifted his company. How did he do that? Because he is a hard time CEO. So figure out what kind of CEO are you. How do you figure it out? You just do lots of business. You fail a lot of time, hell lot of time. You get to lose lots of money, and then start from zero, start back. Start again, bounce back. That is how you become a great CEO. That is how you become a great business manager. That is how you can run a real business. The best way to learn business is running one, not by reading, not by attending seminars, not by attending mentorship classes. Mentorship, I'll discuss that in my next video. So do stay tuned for that. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you guys. See you soon. Bye bye. Meet you at the top.